otherwise, get in the room and be here. Be here because I don't know about y'all, but size does matter. And we're going to talk about that today, but not just yet. First, we're going to get to the excellent details of the beginning of the meeting. And let's just watch and see as people, what is that happening? Let's click the present button and that'll be perfect. The data disclaimer is always important because what we're saying here might be true, it might not be true, and it's up to you to figure out if it's right or wrong. And then the TCPA compliance factor is also real. And if you're going to call people, please make sure you're doing it in a TCPA friendly and compliant way so that you don't get sued and we don't get sued and nobody gets sued because they're going to sue you anyway. So you might as well make sure you're covering your butt in the meantime. All right, bucket fills. Who has a bucket to fill today? Let's hear some joy and positivity in the world. Don't be shy, just shout it out.
Sarah, I have
Tim.
a bucket to fill.
Okay,
But
good. You stopped me from singing, Jacqueline, which I know is important for you. So go for it.
it's awkward because I actually have to fill your bucket. We have been working on some things behind the scenes over at Escrow Partners, and you have used some of your AI software and some of your just tools that you have to help make that a faster, more efficient process. And so thank you. You were very helpful this week in helping us get some things that we needed in a much faster way. So thank you very much.
You are so welcome. And as I always say, if you have a question or a need, please ask because you never know unless you ask. And when you ask, sometimes someone else can do it in 2 seconds, but might take you a very, very, very long time. So always ask. That includes me. Ask if you need something. If I don't know you need it, I can't possibly help you, which we'll connect to today. Thanks, Jacqueline. Anybody else, raise your hand and we will call on you as we move on. But today's topic is really important. So I want to get through to it as we go forward here. All right, should I do the beeping sound like we had in elementary school to like slide the slideshow forward? Beep. Property pitches. Anybody have a property to pitch to start us off? I know Kevin has one that's coming up. Judy, go for it. Go back one, Ari.
Okay, now I'm on.
There you go.
Yeah, I want to pitch my new listing in North Park. It is a one bedroom, one bath condo on the ground floor. It has the laser high speed internet in it. It's got a parking right next to the unit, which is off street. And it's got washer dryer hookups right in the unit as well. It's the cutest little thing. Fraser says it's 612 square feet. And we're going to be having our first open house this weekend, held by Amy Jaffers. I myself will be holding a broker open on Friday morning after the pitch session. So come and bring your most discerning one bedroom client because it's only $450 and the HOA is only $286 a month. This one should go fast. I don't know why it's not going already, but please come and bring your people or send somebody over to see us. Thank you.
Excellent work, Judy. Thank you for that. So, if people want to get a buy-in in San Diego, there's an affordable one. Get to it. All right, you can slide forward to Kevin's. I saw you on here, Kevin. You can talk about your own. And then if anybody else has them, raise your hand or just get next in line. Go for it, Kevin.
Yeah, two bedroom, two bath condo in. Sorry, I'm eating. I'm not turning my camera on you. I don't want to see
You're
me
good.
eat my face. Um, Two bedroom, two bath condo. They've remodeled quite a bit of it. So new flooring in the bedrooms, new vanities in the bathrooms, new countertops, some new appliances. VA approved, FHA approved, 659. HOA just went up $100, so whatever's on there reflects that. So the 438, they're doing that to build the reserves, uh, so they don't have to do any assessments coming up. So they're already ahead of the game on that. Um, so yeah, it's one block from plot provisions. So if you like that hipstery top vibe, it's right there in the heart of that, and one block away from, if I'm saying it right, Ann's um, dry cleaning gelato, which is just voted last year like nation's number one gelato spot. So lots of ramen restaurants. So one of my favorite cheesecake places is 2, 3 blocks away. So lots of stuff around there, and they are this is the third deal I've done with these clients in 2 years. So they are very great to work with and excellent to work with. And we are, if it's somebody in the market center, we are using escrow partners as our escrow officers. So Christine Reed and Ryan White as our title rep. So
Price, please.
$659.
Okay.
Yeah,
659 and the 438 HOA just went up 100, so you shouldn't expect anything soon, although we can't control that, can we?
exactly. So there you go.
Excellent. Bring your discerning foodies to Kevin's listing because he knows where all the hot hip spots are. And I think you said that type vibe, but the fact that your Southern accent said top vibe made it sound really fun also.
Exactly.
All right, Kevin, great listing as well. Anybody else have a listing to share coming soon or otherwise? Okay, let's keep going. If you do, drop it in the chat, or if you have something you really want to shout out from the rooftop, raise your hand or interrupt me and we will do that. All right. So Broker Bob, Mark Miller, and myself present daily and weekly for different topics. Mark Miller is doing on Mondays, what we affectionately call Mondays with Mark. And if y'all have questions on compliance, on processes, on he's just a treasure trove of information, and he is giving his time every Monday to be a resource and to get to know him and to get to understand the process and to get your questions answered. So for some of you, you're like, I've got that. That's not for me. I'm way too busy. Fine. Absolutely fine. For others of you, if you're not on a listing appointment, you're not on a buyer's appointment, you're not lead generating, you're not learning, you're not touring properties, that's also called work, learning and being ready for when it is your turn to go. On Wednesdays, Broker Bob is doing all things tech, formerly known as something or other command, but he has totally changed it up and it's all things tech. And that matters. We're going to talk about it today because size does matter. But really, when Broker Bob is diving deep, he's doing it as a workshop or a lab style. Y'all, he is teaching you step by step with your laptop or your phone, whatever you're using, how to get in, identify your client, ideally get things built out, take action, and actually do now, as I love to call it when you've coached with me. Do now. What is the do now work in the moment? Take action to get actionable. Yes, I'm saying action 400 times. Action steps done to create a result. We do not want to be the smartest book on the bookshelf. We want to be the most actionable, accomplished human in the business, right? So that's Roberts. He put in some details there that it's all things tech. It's social media, it's AI, it's your database, whatever is important to you in technology, get your butt in a seat and talk to him about it. Because our fabulous broker is not just the best broker around. He's also becoming a tech guru to help y'all learn better. He loves it. He's passionate about it. Robert, I think I saw you. Did I miss anything you want to add to that?
That's good.
That's good. Perfect.
I'll
All
speak
right.
up
And then
real quick and say that I've learned more in 3 or 4 weeks that I went. I didn't get to go the last 2 weeks, but I've learned more in the last 3 or 4 weeks than I knew about Command in the last 4 years. So it's worth going and sitting through 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So I definitely, if you've not been, go.
Kevin, that is an awesome testimonial. Thank you for sharing. And I also helped an agent who was about to spend money on postcard mailers and go through a company and pay a fee and do all these things. And I said, you know, Command does that, right? And then we walked through it for 2 minutes, probably 10, and showed her how to do it. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I asked a question and didn't just go buy this thing. So please ask. We are here to help you. A lot of it, I'm going to be a mom for a minute and be like a little soapboxy. Just keep listening. I promise it'll be worth it. A lot of it we're saying, but you're not hearing it at the right time. It's not that you're not listening, you're listening, but it's not relevant in the moment you're hearing it or the moment we said it the first time or the second time or the 23rd time. So if you have a question, we don't think like, why weren't you listening the first time? Even if Broker Bob says that sometimes in broker risk management meetings, he doesn't really mean it because you didn't hear it when you needed to hear it is the thing. So we're here to help you tie the dots together, right? You might not have been open to hearing it at that time, or it just wasn't relevant for your business at that time. If you're someone who's never mailed a postcard to you farm or sent something out like that, Then anytime anyone's talked about it, you've just been like, la la la, I can't hear you, got on your phone or you do whatever you do, right? So please ask, because you spending money on things we already know how to do with you and for you doesn't feel like winning for me or you. Okay, and then Daily Spark. Daily Spark is still happening Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. You can find it on YouTube and the recordings, but I did actually go back to the Zoom login for the dailies because people were having a hard time getting confused. So it lives on my YouTube channel. You can see old ones there. Let's be honest, I've been doing it since August, so there's a ton of content. And again, you're going to hear what's relevant to you in the moment. You're not going to learn it all. And I don't want you to learn it all. I want you to learn what's necessary today and go take action and get results and then move on. If we were in the room, I'd make y'all raise your hand if you heard me, but we're not, so I won't. Okay. Escrow partners. Jacqueline, are you taking that one today or is Noble?
I sure am. And there is a special slide for Noble as well that's coming up. These are your two lovely escrow officers. Kevin, we're very excited to work with you. We can't wait to make that a smooth escrow. But I have another agent I'd like to feature on the next slide. Kareen! Congratulations, Kareen. You just opened escrow with Escrow Partners. We are very excited for you and excited to see that business that is coming through. So congratulations. I saw you on here. Big hugs and congrats. And then we have more for you. So this is where Noble comes in. We are doing this thing where we will customize marketing templates that we already have all set up for ourselves. So we figured, why not do the work for you since we're doing it anyway? So what we have is, since we just finished March and we are now officially in April, we went in and pulled just top line stats. Obviously, this is not as in-depth as Ashley's market stats, but this is just a quick piece for your social media so that you can show everybody that you are constantly staying up on real estate. So all you have to do, text Noble 404-579-7112. Say your first and last name and your DRE number. Once he gets that from you, he'll go in and he'll update this to be your pretty face. And then he will go ahead and put in your name and your phone number and your DRE information. For the moment, this is the March San Diego County stats. So this is pulled directly from SDMLS. It was pulled on April 1st and it covers March 1st to March 31st. So go ahead, if you don't have it, screenshot it, grab his phone number, text him your first and last name and your DRE, and he will get you a custom market report. Okay, next slide. We have more. There's good stuff this week, you guys. Okay, because sometimes the world just all dovetails together and it all makes sense, I am building AI tips to streamline your real estate business. So this is something that I'll be presenting somewhere else, and then I will bring you guys an enhanced version later in April. So I need you guys to vote. So in the chat, if you don't mind voting, either April 22nd, which is a Tuesday at lunchtime, 12 to 1, or April 24th, which is a Thursday at 1 to 2 p.m. So go ahead, vote in the chat. If nobody votes, then I'll just pick the one that I prefer. We're going to do this one on Zoom because that's when I used to do my escrow class, and it seemed to be good around lunchtime so that if you were busy going out on appointments, you could still pop in. So we're going to try this class Zoom. And then if you guys want more, let me know. I'm always happy to come do this one in person if you liked it and want to do more. So awesome. I see votes coming in the chat. We'll tally those up at the end of the call. And then while you guys are voting, I think I have one last slide. Dun, dun, dun. Congratulations to Mike and the team at Casa Mia. They were our two top in the month of March for the most escrows closed with Escrow Partners. Kelly, Vinny, and Joe, congratulations. You guys were up there as well. And I see a lot of you guys are also on our April leaderboard that I am starting. So congratulations to everyone. We are so thrilled that Metro is having such a great month. So congratulations to all of you. I know it's been months of hard work to get to this point where now you're getting them all listed. So congrats to all.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Deb, let's hear from you, please.
Hi, this fabulous Kevin K. Took a new listing today, the one that he highlighted today on in this meeting. He's just killing it. So I think Kevin is almost going to be, this one might just cap him out of coaching, growth coaching as well. So very proud of him. And if I may, Robert, you want to talk about Dawn?
You go ahead. You're doing it.
Okay, Dawn got a new BRBC sign, and she's heavily working with Robert Shantz, our broker, to be killing it. So, congratulations to Dawn.
Awesome. I will also share that Dawn just referred a friend of hers who is licensed and looking for a new home for her license to be over to our group to get us dialed in with her. And many of you do that all the time. And I just want to say, since Dawn just popped up in my face, thank you, Dawn, for your referral. And we are excited to welcome a new KW Metro family member from your referral. All right, Bruce Broadfoot. Some of us have met Bruce in person. He's here today to talk from our Keller Mortgage Spotlight. Bruce, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I just want to, first of all, just introduce myself. I work for Keller Home Loans, which is in a partnership with Mutual of Omaha. So I have, not only do I have 200 hats, I wear two hats for the business cards. I have Keller Williams or Keller Home Loans, and I have Mutual of Omaha. Been on board now for a few months, and had to kind of learn some systems. I have intentionally kind of low-keyed myself here in your office because I didn't want you to be my guinea pigs as I learned the systems here at Mutual. I am very experienced. I've been in this business since 1985. I closed about 3,500 transactions over the course of my career. So I know what I'm doing. You would be in experienced hands should you reach out to me and ask for some mortgage help with your folks. I have worked with a number of you over the years. I have now closed, I think, a half a dozen transactions, mostly refinances, and a couple of purchases that were outside of our office. And they all went very smoothly. Really, no problems at all. But did take some time to learn a few things. So I just wanted to introduce myself, let you know that I do work for you. I'm a part of the same 401k program as you. Part of our profit when we fund a loan goes straight to this office. And so I know that would make Ashley very happy as well. You will see me at these meetings. You'll see me at the social events, that sort of thing. And I think that's it. It was just a day to introduce myself and let you know who the heck I am.
Thanks, Bruce. Well, Victor has to say in the chat that you are awesome, and we know that to be true. So, again, you guys, ask questions, reach out, have conversations. You don't know until you ask. So, please take the time to build the relationship and ask for what you need, compare and contrast, look for options for your buyers, and let's all win together.
I should say one more thing. You will start
Yeah.
seeing me in your social feeds as well, emails or texts or social, that sort of thing.
We're excited. I can't wait to see all your different hats and meetings too. All right, Broker Bob, take it away.
Happy Wednesday, KW Metro team. Hey, just a friendly reminder. And unfortunately, I don't see all the people on this call that should know this information, but I'm going to repeat it again. And we've talked about it at pretty much every risk management meeting for the last 2 or 3, and every broker update for the last 3 or 4. When you are a listing agent and you're accepting an offer from a buyer, and the buyer's agent checks box 3G3 on the RPA, and it specifically states that the buyer affirms that there's a valid BRBC in place, and your duty is to counter back to have that BRBC sent back with the fully executed counteroffer so that you can verify if there is a valid BRBC in place. Reason being is if it's not valid, then for the buyer's agent to be asking for that could leave the listing agent in peril if the seller later finds out that they were not responsible or didn't have to legally pay that broker's commission through the contract. They can come back and file a claim against you. This is a big thing that's happening, is we've had it happen twice in the last 2 weeks, where an offer was accepted by one of our listing agents, and unfortunately the BRBC was invalid, and that put them in jeopardy. and it kind of messed things up in the transaction, but we know that about 70% of the agents out there in the San Diego market do not have a broker like me teaching them how to do this stuff. And then we are finding out with that when you do call them on it, some of these buyers agents are hesitant to go back and fix it because they don't want to look stupid in front of their client. So that's why when you accept the offer, you want to make sure that that BRBC or whatever agreement they're operating under, they could have their own separate buyer's broker agreement that they're operating under. They have that in place and it's valid. This is already being shown up in some cases across California because sellers are finding out, you mean I didn't really have to pay that? And all it takes is one attorney to point that out to them. And then the listing agent and the brokerage ends up in court. So that's it. I will stay on my soapbox with that for the next few weeks because I think the message still needs to be driven home. Back to you, Sarah.
There are a couple of questions in the chat, Robert, if you want to go in and do you want to answer them out loud or on chatting?
Well, the PSRA is also considered valid as well too, but you need to make sure again that it's valid. Now, here's the big thing is that the DRE with AB 2992 that came into place in January of this year, the Department of Real Estate has yet to rule on how they're going to enforce it. But we do know that they will enforce it to the extent of the law. That law is more stringent, AB 2992, than the NAR settlement. And so when they do come out with that information, probably in July of this year, it's going to probably turn a few heads in the industry to realize, oh, we better learn this. Now, here's what we're working towards and what we brokers hope. And we're seeing this too when you guys are holding open houses, that you're having people come into the open house that technically don't, they say they have an agent, but they don't have a BRBC signed. We're hoping eventually that the buyers will realize, just like when they did go sell a house, if they were on the selling side, that they also know they need to go hire an agent to start looking for houses. So eventually we're going to probably have to the point where every buyer realizes, hey, I need to hire an agent and get that BRBC signed because I need to be represented out there. And yeah, hope that answered your question, Rebecca.
Awesome. Kareem, was yours answered as well?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no, wait. If the seller signed the PSRA instead, do they also? No, they don't have to sign the BRBC. The PSRA works just like the BRBC.
Okay.
Did you say
Awesome. Yeah, I thought you wrote before about something about the order. It had to be something done. I only looked as it flew by.
Oh, I was
Yes.
just saying that you have to ask for it in the counter offer if it's I just request it before even getting into negotiations and I make sure that it's all correct before even going there. So that's to avoid everything. But I did want to mention too, we still have what BB just said on one of my listings. We still have buyers not believing that they have to sign a BRBC before showing homes. And I had a buyer reach out to me directly for one of my listings, and she said, you know, this agent's telling me that I need to sign something with her. And so she said, I thought I'd go directly through you. And I said, no, she's correct. That's the new law. So, yeah, I hope we get to that point too, where people know just that's what they have to do. They got to sign it.
So real quick, my question on that is, if you have a unrepresented buyer calling you directly, do you need to have them sign at least a PSRA?
If it's your listing, Kevin, no, because you are representing the seller.
Got
But
it.
if you show them the property and they start talking about, well, what about this property down the street? I want to go see that. Or they ask you questions about that property down the street. That's when you start creating agency and you're actually doing work for that buyer, then you have to have them sign either a PSRA or a BRBC.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, this buyer had an agent and just wanted to see the home, but she didn't believe the agent. She wasn't believing the agent that she needed to sign that. So,
Well, you're not an overglorified home shower, Kareen, right?
hey, that's why
Plus you're
I redirected her.
plus you're also an Uber driver on the side too.
No, I'm not.
So that's why it matters, y'all, because people
Funny.
don't understand. They listen to the media or their Uncle Joe or their friend Tanya at their water cooler who just bought a house 14 years ago or whatever the case might be. So slow down to go faster, although it doesn't really make any sense. You want to slow down that consultation process and explain everything. Here's what happens next. Here's what's going to happen next. Here's what you can expect next. You want to be adding those phrases into all of your consultations and conversations so that people aren't left wondering, well, now what? Right?
I see there's one more question that was asked.
Yeah.
What is a BRBC? That's from our agent, Emily Holmes. She's not the brightest. She's actually very slow to learn. And so, Emily, a BRBC is a buyer broker compensation agreement that you need to have signed. You need to come to classes that I teach and get out of that pregnancy head.
Yeah, I'll be sure to be there. In my pajamas.
As I used to say to people, it's a good thing you're pretty because there's not much upstairs.
Yeah, well,
You are welcome to come.
takes one to
and
know one.
He's
Your
actually the
cozy
agent
clothes.
that the buyer was calling about. No, I'm just joking.
Oh gosh. All right, have we aired out all of those actually very important questions and thoughts around the getting paid and making sure your sellers are doing things the right way conversation? If not, just hold it until the next risk management meeting. I'm just kidding. Ask your questions, reach out, text, call, ask in person, whatever you need to do to get those handled. The last thing you want to do is go through closing and have the seller say, wait, I didn't have to pay that. What's up with that? All right. Size does matter. Yes, I was being a little punchy about the topic of the meeting this week, and here's why. What did we just finish? March 31st ended what in the world of business and life on the calendar?
First quarter.
First quarter.
Thank you, Erin and Deb, for saving me from silence. The first quarter of 2025, Q1. Oh, and Jacqueline in the chat. So Q1 is done. I didn't know I was going to be a poet. I don't know it. So we're going to go through a couple of different pieces. One of them is, did you accomplish your goals in the first quarter of the year according to the plan you mapped out for the whole year? For some people, that would be 25% of your total goal, meaning if you had planned on closing 12 units this year, that would be 3 per quarter if that's what your business plan says, which would mean you closed 3 in Q1. For some people, it says actually Q1 is less, Q2 and 3 is more, and Q4 is less. It depends on your business plan. And the reality and the reason, or the reasonality, is that at this moment in time, it's the end of Q1. If we aren't looking back, I'm going to be really transparent. I had my coaching call yesterday and we were talking about a bunch of different things. And listen, Metro is winning. Metro listed the most properties we've listed in a really long time, like a really long time. We wrote the most contracts we've written since September of last year. We made a bunch of company dollar. We made a bunch of profit. We hired a bunch of people. We're hiring experienced people. We are winning as a company, right? In the world where not everyone feels like they're winning right now. And yet, are you, Karina, I just saw you something right in the chat about your husband naked, and now I'm distracted from my own words. I should not look. So if we aren't reflecting on where we're supposed to be in our own business plans as we're moving through it, we might be winning, but like not know it or not actually be on pace for where we're supposed to be. Let me give you an example. I have a GPS. Some of us know that as a 135. That one is for the market center goals, for my business goals to lead Keller Williams San Diego Metro. That one literally hangs on my wall. I can see it if I turn my head to the left. It hangs on my wall. It does not read itself out loud to me every morning, afternoon, and evening. So if I don't read it, do I know what it says? The answer is no, I don't. If I don't read it, I don't know what it says. Okay, I also have a 411. Some of us have heard these terms, GPS and 411. And yes, they go together. Now, my 411 is my whole self 411. There is a point, so keep listening because this is actually about y'all and me and all of us. My 411, I was really proud of it in January. I built it to be really awesome. I have my family, my key relationships, my business, my finances, my marriage, my home improvements, my investments, like all these really exciting things that we're doing in my world. Metro is just one column of that. And like my whole world, because your whole world is not your whole business, is not your whole world, right? Are we with me? Thumbs up if I can see your face if you're still following. Okay. So I had my coaching call yesterday morning, and I opened up my 411 and I said to my coach, okay, here's the reality. I don't know the last time I read this. And he was like, okay. And I said, the good news is I've actually done some of the stuff, like, because it goes annual, monthly, weekly, right? So like I have actually done some of the stuff and I am moving the needle forward in some of the places. I'm about 10% in a couple of the categories. I'm halfway through one category. I'm not at all in many other categories, right? The point is, if I don't read it, it's meaningless. If I don't read it, it doesn't help me be where I need to be. And in this moment at the end of Q1, you're in a prime moment. The reality is, guys, you can do this any day of the week, any month of the year, all the time, right? You can not have done it this week, not be on the meeting right now and be like, oh, I heard we're supposed to look at our Q1 business. What should I do? You can do it in the middle of April. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you look at it, period, right? Reflect and adjust and grow, or, change course. So I'm telling you that because my GPS is glued to my wall and has been since I made it at the end of 2024. I read much of it sometimes. Here's what my coach told me when I first started coaching with him. He learned under Diana Kokoska. Some of us who've been around a long time know who that is. For those of you who don't, if you've heard of Bold, she was the original writer of Bold before Gary Keller rewrote the whole thing. She's an amazing coach and a wonderful human. She sat down at her computer every single day, and her business plan, her GPS and 411, was actually taped to her computer screen, so that in order for her to start her day, she had to flip the paper back over out of her way. Now, laptops make that a little tricky. If you don't have a desktop, you can't do it just like that. We got to have a workaround, right? I'm telling you this because I'm not perfect, and I'm sure that none of us on this call are either. And yet, if we take the time to write the plans, but then never look at them, what good are they? Right? So we end up doing all this work that's not actually helping us get where we want to be, and we might not even actually enjoy. What I would love for you all to do is think about this conversation we're going to go into today. There's way more than just this part, but this is my, sharing with you full vulnerability. I was like, oh my gosh, I literally don't know the last time I read this. So be with me, move through it, be better together. I'm excited to see what changes in Q2 when I read it every day, when I commit to that. And I hope you all will do it with me as well. Now I will get into my screen share and I will ask you to please look back at your goals. And if you're sitting there, like some of us I know on this call are doing, and saying, oh my gosh, I don't even have a business plan written. It's okay. It is okay. We write business plans at the end of 2024. Has anything changed from 2024 till now in the world in general? Can we all agree the answer is yes? So you need to reevaluate, reflect, regroup, make sure that you're looking at it and on the same path to go forward. You might have found since then, oh my gosh, I started working with this one client and now I'm getting a ton of business in this one building and I want to triple down on this area versus go do that other thing I was going to do. It's your business. You're allowed to rework it and change it as you're going. And I'm going to show you at the end a really awesome trick. If you don't have a business plan written at all, I will help you. You will have one. Don't say you don't have one. We'll get there. Okay. But if we don't have a map, we definitely don't know where we're going. So without further ado, let's get into what does matter in the world of size matters, y'all, because size does matter. Okay. So let me give it a second to load. Kareen or Deb, I see your faces. Can you see my screen? Okay, great. So yes, I was being a little punny and funny. And yes, it was all on purpose. And it was because if we're not going to have fun with this business we're doing, then what the heck are we even doing anyway, right? So again, on my mastermind, we get into this conversation about what's going on. Size does matter. What do you think we're going to talk about today? Does anybody have a guess?
Database.
Database, great guess. Anybody else? Okay, we'll go with database. What?
Goals.
Goals, awesome. I love that we're thinking and sharing. Great work. Database and goals. Anything else?
Size of box of chocolates we get Broker Bob.
That might also be helpful for you when you have a want or a need, but since we're recorded, I'll say that's only for jokes. He doesn't mean that. There's no partial treatment sent. Impartial treatment, that is. Okay, this is your actual life you are living, and this is your actual business you are building. I know that that might seem like a little hokey or a little whatever, but it really matters because how you spend your time is completely up to you, and you chose to be in this industry that the media talks about in a very certain way, and you have an opportunity to make a ton of money. And with that also comes potentially a ton of stress, a ton of aggravation, a ton of time spent not your own way if you're not controlling your time, right? And our goal here is to help you work to make sure you're treating your business like a business and you're not winging it at a high level or at a marginal level or just kind of sort of doing it, right? So let's keep going. How big is your pipeline? That's the size we're talking about, your pipeline. Okay, so pipeline matters, and it has been a non-conversation for so long. And when my coach talked about it on a mastermind, he only coaches top leaders or top agents in the country. And I'm talking tippity top. So there's no one like randomly running their business and winging it in this group. And what he said was just like I started, although this wasn't intentional, maybe it could be, I started sharing how I haven't looked at my 411 and I read my GPS like a little bit every day because I walk by it, but I'm not intentionally, it's not on my calendar. And the only way to change that for me, and maybe you're like me, is to put it into my calendar. So now after this meeting, I need to put it in my calendar, spend 15 minutes. It's probably 5, right? But I'm going to put a 15-minute block. Read your GPS, read your 411, write down anything it makes you think of to start my day so that I start with clarity and I don't go swirling around like a pinball machine, bouncing around all over the place. What he said was none of my agents are on track to hit their goals based on where we are ending Q1. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm their coach. Like that's literally on me. And what we realized was their pipeline isn't big enough. The good news is it's not your fault. Like a lot of times I'll have this conversation and I'll say, y'all, it's your fault. Like buyers aren't buying at the record they're supposed to. It's kind of on you because you're not educating them. You should be teaching your clients better. You should be doing other things. This is not one of those conversations. This is a, hey, we didn't know. We haven't talked about it. Let's get it right starting today. So agent conditioning is the word, a phrase I want you to think about. And what this is, if for anyone who's been in the business for a longer time, I'll give you the background to this conversation. If you go back to like the 2008, depending on what year you were thriving in the business and then it collapsed upon you, 2005, 6, 7, 8, wherever you were in that realm and the shift that happens, what we learned coming out of it was your pipeline couldn't be big enough. You couldn't possibly have enough leads at that moment in time to know that you were actually going to close things because things blew up left, right, and sideways, right? If you were in the industry then, put it in the chat. Yes, I understand. Yes, I felt that, whatever, right? Like there was so much going on that you had to plan. If you wanted to close 2, you had to have like 8 going, right? Because things just went sideways. So we were conditioned as agents to need to expect more in order to close what we actually wanted to do. And then we moved through as we got into 16, 17, the market started to shift and things started going a little faster. Multiple offers actually started happening way back then, right? And we learned that we didn't have to have as much business in our pipeline. We didn't have to work as hard as we were before, although we were still generating leads and tracking them and giving them categories, A, B, C, D, right? Like who is in what realm and how close are they to actually transacting? Then what happened on the timeline of agent life? COVID, right? So then we had the moment in March of 2020 where we said, I don't know if anyone's going to buy or sell real estate ever again. We might just all live in the homes we're in right now, and that's where we stay forever. And then we learned that that's not what happened. And what happened went on to be the fastest 2 years of real estate ever to exist. and agents got conditioned. Well, actually, let you guys tell me, what were you, agents who've been working in that post-COVID from the time we could show again through till really the mortgage rates got shifted, that 2.5 years, what were you conditioned to do? Build a big pipeline or service what was in front of your face? You can come off mute and talk.
Number two.
Number two, right? Service what was in front of your face. We were no longer conditioned to do anything, but if you didn't get them to the house the minute it was listed, you probably weren't even going to have a chance to get an offer submitted, right? So what I want you to really understand, especially if you've been in the business longer, like I'm talking about this period of time, if you have any history of watching cycles, what goes up must come down, what goes down must go up, right? There's an ebb and a flow to everything. If you've been here for a while, I really want you to think about the conditioning and how you worked and what your business looked like in that era, just to make it real for you, right? Because I'm going to tell you reality according to history, but if you lived it, it feels different and you can actually relate to it, right? So agent conditioning, the market creates a condition and then agents live inside an echo chamber and continue to bring reality to the condition they first started talking about. Now, that again is not, sometimes echo chamber can have a negative connotation for some. It's not that. It's that you mastermind with, you network with, you're in an office with, you're in trainings for, you're just in this insulated world where you start to hear something and say it and repeat it, and then it becomes reality, right? And then this cycle continues until new learning or reality disrupts it. You have to intentionally choose to learn something different, or reality has to smack you so hard in the face that it changes, i.e. global pandemic stops real estate from happening, right? i.e. mortgage rates jump so quickly that everyone slams their brakes no matter what's happening. There's outside influence that shifts the way we think. Does that make sense? Perfect. So the agent conditioning is the reason we haven't been working on our pipelines as a focal point. Again, it's not like, let's be excited. This is a way we can start winning differently and shift our focus and accomplish new things, and it'll be awesome. So I just talked about this mostly. What is current agent conditioning? Post-COVID agents have been handling what's in front of them. That's all we were trained to do through those years. And then things shifted, and then it became like, wow, how do I help my buyers buy when rates went crazy and I don't know what's happening, right? No longer taking time to build a strong pipeline, no longer cultivating leads for long periods of time. We just got out of practice. If they weren't ready, willing, and able to go now, list now, buy now. Sorry, I feel like I'm talking a little fast. Let me try to slow it down. If we weren't in that realm where they're ready to go now, we just didn't pay attention to them. We didn't have the strong touch systems of follow-up. We didn't even know what to do with them anymore because we were only paying attention to what was in front of us, right? And a lot of people, even as we come through them, like the mortgage bump, next phase of conditioning was, I'll do something when affordability changes, or I'll do something when the rates change. And we were leaving this whole unknown to this other thing. And again, that's not the education anyone needs to actually move the ball forward for themselves if you take it at face value, if you stay snorkeling and don't scuba dive, right? So for some of us, we're out of practice. And for some of us, we just never learned because we've only been in the business for so long, or we just were never taught on how to actually run it like a business. The good news is it's just math, y'all. It's just some math, and we're going to do it and we're going to get there. Now, let me give you a precursor warning here. Some of us will not know the answer to some of these questions. Do not live in judgment of yourself today. That will not help you go forward. I ask that you, if you hear something and you go like, I don't know what that answer is, and this is my actual business, what the heck, make a note, think about it, and then decide what does it need to be for you, right? So 4 simple pieces to solve your biggest business problem. 4 and simple makes it solvable. So I'm excited. The first question you need to ask yourself is, how many closings annually do you need to accomplish your goals? Everyone, most of us have, some of us haven't. If you haven't, play along with me and use the math we've got here. If you know that number, then get your number, and then we're going to divide it by 12. That's going to give us our monthly. We're going to do it all on the next page as well. So the second part of that is we're going to learn how many days from contract execution to close of escrow. Now, I've been doing this with a couple of our top agents, and they've had some serious epiphanies to it. So for anyone who's thinking like, oh, I haven't even thought about this before, I promise you, it's not a you thing. We're going to shift the focus. It's all okay. You might have a different contract to close time for a BRBC versus a listing. Does anyone know their contract to close time for a buyer or a seller? From the time you sign the listing to the time you close escrow, what do you think that is? Let me get your faces bigger so I can see you. If anybody wants to play along, you can shout it out. Otherwise, I'll use the numbers I have. All right, I see chat. Let me look at chat. 4 months, up to 4 months. I don't know this either. Okay, so 25. I don't know what 25 is. 25, what do you mean, Kevin, 25? 60 days. Okay, 2 months.
One doesn't mess around. 25 days.
And maybe what I want you to really think about, and this is part of the search part of it, is from the time if you're going to sign a listing agreement, but then you're going to stage and prep and do work, and then you're going to go live, and then you're going to show, and then you're going to get it into escrow, and then you're going to close, right? So really, if you've got business currently, recently, this year, look at it. You don't have to wonder or guess. Go back to your business. This is homework after the meeting, right? Go back to your business and look, I listed it. I had the listing appointment on this day. We signed it on this day. We went under contract on this day. We closed it on this day. You want to just use the first day, the day you signed the contract, and the closing day. And that will give you your window. And look at it for listings and for buyers, because for some of us, it might be different. That's okay. We're going to go through it together, and we're going to slow it down because it's a little bit complicated. So if it's different for listings and buyers drastically, we're going to have to use different math, and that's okay. If you go through business planning clinic, we know we use different math for listings and buyers, and our conversions matter. The next part here is, what is your conversion rate? So that part is also from the time, this is not from the time you get a referral or you have an appointment. This is the conversion rate from someone you signed a contract with. You signed a BRBC or you signed a listing agreement. What is your conversion rate from someone you signed that they're going to go to that closing table and close the deal? For listings and for buyers, figure it out for yourself. If you don't do a ton of business, yes, it is very likely 100%. The more business you do, the more your conversion rate will shift, because the more at bats you're getting, the more people you're working with, right? So if you only do a couple, you're probably 100%. That's okay. If you do more, you're going to have that change. So just stay aware of it, right? Now let's do the math. I'm going to keep you all like this for a second so I can see the chat pop up. So now let's make it real. Estate. Oh my gosh, my kids think I'm so cringy. So in this math, we did 36 closings because I want more for y'all than most of you want for yourself. So I'm going to, let's say, push it. We're going to divide that by 12. That's going to be 3 monthly is the closed goal, right? And please, if you have a question as we're walking through this, stop, just ask it so we can make it make sense. 3 monthly closings required for the goal. Now, if we're looking at listings only, this person just wants to work at listings, so we're going to look at listings only. I'm going to give you another example. And one of the agents I worked with last week, their example was this 75 days for listings, and it was about 90 for buyers. Well, we can't do halftime. We have to round up whatever it is, because once we're in the next period, we're in the next period. So that's going to be 3 months for listings. And in that case, your buyers might also be 3 months, right? So in this part of the math, you're going to take your closed monthly goal times your contract to close time. This time we're using 3 months, because even though it's 75 days, we got to round up to the monthly. And that's going to give us a number of 9 in our pipeline to hit that goal of 3. How big does it need to be? Size does matter. If you think you're closing 3 deals a month to hit your goals, does anyone on here think I need 9 in my pipeline to do that? But wait, there's more. So now you've got to get your conversion ratio going. And this is why I say, if you're like, I don't have that, that's not true for me. If I need 3, I have 3, I close 3. No one falls out. Everyone gets where they're supposed to be. That doesn't happen. If your number is 1, maybe. If your number is 3, I'm going to say, let's sit down and talk about it. I want to feature you on a call if that's true. And it might be, you might be that amazing. Now in step 3, we're adding in our conversion percentage. So if your conversion percentage is 80%, now that's if you're doing a high volume of business, you might have a 20% fallout. Contracts written somewhere before you get to closing, it falls out, right? If that's the math, we're going to divide by the conversion percent. So in this case, we're going to divide the 9 by 80%, and we're going to get 11.25. We don't have parts of people. We can't have a quarter of a human close the deal. So we're going to round up again. And now we're up to 12. So if we look at step 4, that's 12 pieces of business in your pipeline at all times to continuously close 3 a month all year long based on an 80% conversion rate. Does anyone feel like, yeah, I knew that. That's boring. Totally had that dialed in. This was a new conversation for all of us, one that we haven't had in a while. I'm going to give you the math on 90% as well, because for many of us it is. And I want you to see why your conversion rate matters. So in this case, everything stayed the same except for right here. I bumped it to 90%, which gave us an 8.1 response. I'll make it big again, unless, was there chat? There's one chat. Hold on. Before months, right? Great, perfect. So you guys will do the math for yourselves. Let me go back to present so I can make it bigger. I see some of you are squinting at it. Let me pop into this part. Okay, so here, the only difference here is this 90%. Okay, so now we did the same 9, but now your conversion percentage is better. So it's 90%, you're dividing by 0.9. Now you are equaling 9 in your pipeline at all times to close 3 per month. Any questions? Okay, so there are likely 3 problems to be faced so you can go win. See, I expected that some of y'all would have problems with this and everybody wouldn't be ready to go. Conversion rate needs to be accurate for you. If you assume an 80% rate and you're really at 100, you're going to be working real hard, which is great. You'll get more business. If you're assuming a 100% rate and you're really at an 80, you're not going to hit your goals. Just start to get started and look at your math and figure out how many deals have I had? How many deals in the last 12 months fell out for some reason, right? What is the math on this? Stop treating everyone the same. I had an epiphany with this last year. I drilled it in some people's heads for a while, and yet I think it needs to come back to the top of the surface here. Every lead, every person in your pipeline, everyone that you're talking to does not deserve your time in the same way. They all deserve your time at the right time, but everyone's not at the right time. So hear that clearly. And what does that mean? For an A client, they are ready, willing, and able right now to transact, to list, or to buy when they find the property, or maybe they just have to like clean out that room and they're in the process, and you're talking about listing the property, right? A B client would have, this is my definition. I'm going to share with you a different definition. You use the one that makes sense for you. A B client, in my perspective, has one objection, one hurdle they're working to get over in order to get to transaction. Let me give you some examples. It could be that they're waiting for their kid to graduate high school. That can happen before the end of the school year, right? It could be they're waiting to do their taxes this year because they got a bump in salary, or they're using their tax return for down payment. They could be waiting for money from an inheritance. They could be working on their credit. They have one factor stopping them, and please be helping them get through that factor. And if the factor is something you can't help them through, like a graduation, just be in touch with them. Be checking in. Hey, how's it going? How's the school year going? I'm excited for you guys, yada, yada, yada. Stop treating everyone the same, because some people are like, I have 20 people in my pipeline, but none of them are doing anything. I'm like, let's walk through them one by one and figure out, are they all ready to go right now? Or are they someday, or maybe, or I don't really have to, but I might like to buy something, people. And then the last thing I want you to think about is you don't have to work this hard forever. So for some of us, we're like, okay, I was really excited. My goal is 24. I've closed 6 in the Q1. I'm right on pace for May. And now you're telling me I need to have like 8 more people in my pipeline. And now I'm totally freaked out. And I feel like now I feel terrible. That's not the goal. Let's not do that, right? Let's get reality going. And I want to pose a question to you on the next slide. I think I put it on the next slide. Okay, I did. I love it when I know what I'm doing. So how many active people do you have in your pipeline right now? You can answer this for yourself. You do not have to share or write it down or talk out loud. Put it on the paper that you're writing your notes on in front of yourself. How many active people do you have in your pipeline right now? And then you can rank them. The other way to rank them is they're ready to go in the next 30 days or in 60 days or in 90 days or in 120 days, right? The next 1, 2, 3, 4 months or beyond, but you're not going to lose them. So I always want to know if it's timing. To me, it's never about the calendar, right? Now, sometimes it's about the calendar and the example of the graduation, but that's not because we're waiting until June. That's because my child's graduating at the end of May and I want to do whatever in June or July. So while you can use the calendar time, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, etc., you can use whatever you want. It's your business. What I want you to consider is if you're just using an arbitrary number that you're attaching to the human, how are you helping them? Like if you don't know what their reasoning is for that number, how are you going to stay showing up and helping them through the process and make sure that they stay on track? So how many active do you have in your pipeline right now? And then how many units do you need to close each month to achieve your goal? I put big letters on purpose because it does matter. And this is not a me thing. It's not a Dawn thing if it's Nikki. It's not a Deb thing if it's Judy. It's not a Corrine thing if it's Jacqueline. Like those are the faces I can see. So it's your numbers, it's your goals. And if you haven't done the work to know what your goals are, then just stop there and go back and figure out how much money do I actually need to make in real estate and what the heck am I doing here to begin with, right? Then you'll begin with the end in mind. You'll be able to move forward with clarity. You have to know how many active people you have in your pipeline right now so you know what you're working with. And if it's 0, great. Clarity is power. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, just know what that number is and then know how many units you need to hit your goal. And then we'll work from there with the math problem. All right. Are your contacts categorized A, B, C, D? They really should be. I'm rhyming some more. If not, you're going to lose them. You can't help them. So whatever your tricks are that you want to use for labels, if you've had them for a long time, great. My concern is that some people just don't have them. They're like, I have 20 leads and I have 20 people who want to do something. And I'm like, they all are ready to go right now? I promise you they're not, right? Are you ready to challenge yourself for 1 week to work like your business depends on it? What I mean by that is if you've done the math and now you know, okay, I have to work to get X number more in my pipeline right away, what are you going to do about it? This doesn't mean go work like crazy for the rest of your life. It means if you had to get 7 more people in your pipeline this week, what would you do? What would you actually do? Think about it for your business. Some people said I would call through my database and make as many calls as I could, touch base with people and see how they're doing, see if they had any real estate goals for 2025 and how can I help them. Some people said they would hold an open house every single day and door knock around it and talk to as many people as they could all week long, right? It's going to be different for different people. And then what I want you to think about is it big enough? Is it ranked? Is it active? And do you have a plan to sprint? Okay. And then this quote from Marcus Aurelius, I just really love it because the things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Like this should be helping you focus better. And then your thoughts should be exciting and it should be helping you grow and realize like, oh my gosh, if you're not hitting your goals, it's probably because your pipeline's not big enough. So great, we can work with it. Right? If you are hitting your goals and you're crushing it, amazing. Let's still make sure your pipeline's big enough to keep growing forward. All right, we are almost right at time. Let me double check where we are here. Stop share, check our chat. Yes, so what I want you to think about is if you are doing the math and you realize you have a gap, which most of you will, and that's great, good to know, clarity is power. Think about what could I do quickly to go bridge the gap for myself, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to actually go back to share this for 1 second because this part really matters. And then I will leave us with this thought. If you had accomplished all your closings year to date, what would be different in your world right now? And this is all your closings in your goals, right? All the things you intended to do. If you had accomplished all your goals and done this work last year and had this realization and put this work and accomplished all your goals in all of 2024, what would be different in your world right now? And what I really want you to think about, because sometimes we listen to me talk and go like, that's a really good point. I love that idea. But then we don't change anything, right? If nothing changes, nothing changes. And I know you are worth it. Do you know you are worth it? Because it's not rocket science. It's just math. And it was 4 simple questions to get you to an answer and then go out and work to figure out who's in your pipeline and what does it look like. And the reality is, if that's not getting you where you need to be, and you're not excited about it, then look at your goals and figure out, does something need to change? And then once you're in alignment, we can move forward. I didn't hear you yell moose, Sam. Don't worry. I heard somebody come off me, but I didn't hear anybody yell moose. But I would have loved it if you did. All right, the good news is this. I had a whole nother bit planned to share with y'all about AI and how magical it is, because I promise you, you can get your questions answered faster than you think you can. I will go ahead and do it on Daily Spark tomorrow morning, so it doesn't have to wait too long to get to your eyeballs, and then I will share the recording afterwards. And I'm sure Jacqueline's class coming up will actually dive really deep into all the things. My mind was blown from what I saw in AI this morning, and I promise yours is too. Thanks for being here. I hope you all learned something from Pipeline. If anyone has any questions about how big it is and that size does matter, please reach out to me and ask me. I will coach you through your specific conversation. I want you all to succeed. Happy April, happy Q2. Get out there and win.